yesterday. Okay, so like 5 of you. So what I'm gonna do today, you guys didn't waste your time coming again to hear the exact same thing. I'm gonna go a little bit more into the principles and the tools that we use as real estate agents so that you can kind of have some notes on that and get a leg up on some of the other agents and cut through the chaos and clutter. I do still want to query the class though, and I like to just kind of know what you guys' goals are in real estate. So out of curiosity, how many of you guys are looking to become real estate agents in the future? Okay, a little over half. And then mortgage lenders. Okay, got one back there. Appraisers. One appraiser. Anybody, any other type of real estate related careers that you guys are going for? You're all one of the three, or you have one?
No, I mean like maybe property management.
Property management, okay, all right, excellent. Those are all great. Those are all great avenues to go into in real estate, and I always like to, kind of start by saying that when you're a real estate agent or a mortgage lender or an appraiser or a property manager, you guys can really make a positive or a negative difference in people's lives. So I'm here today to hopefully encourage you on how you can have a positive career, and then you can turn around and take that positivity towards other people and spread it around. So again, thanks for coming. And let me just write ways to connect with me on the board. I think I got markers right here. If you guys would like to connect in the future, I would love to stay connected with you. I'll write them down here. Well, can you guys over there see them over here? Maybe I'll write them like here.
Just I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just do, okay, so if you want to connect on LinkedIn, that's a really good site to be on. Just find Angie Weeks on there. I get a lot of requests, so make sure that you guys mention that you're one of Kendrick's students. And then also, I'm Angie Weeks on Twitter. Angie Weeks 1 on Insta. And Facebook. Orange County RE if you want to like our page. Definitely encourage you guys to stay connected. One of the biggest things in real estate is those connections that you make with people. You'll be surprised how many times they come back to help you or haunt you later on in your career. So I do want to briefly talk about what it's like to get started. So once you guys, finish schooling and all that kind of stuff and you're ready to actually get out into the field, God bless you. One of the first things that you want to consider is who you're going to join when it comes to an MLS board. So you're going to have to join a board of some sort in order to get access to the MLS. And that's something that's really important for you guys, and you'll need to learn how to utilize the MLS so that you can best serve your clients when it comes to pulling comps and all that kind of stuff. So I encourage you to look into a couple different boards. If you're going to be selling Orange County real estate, I like OCAR, Orange County Association of Realtors, but you do have multiple to choose from, so know that you have a choice. That said, Orange County Association of Realtors is not the cheapest board to join. However, sometimes you get what you pay for in this world, so they give a lot of training classes, offer a lot of support for agents, all of those types of things. So you want to find a board that's going to work well for you. And if you're a newer agent, I encourage you to join a board where you'll be able to learn and grow as an agent, not necessarily, have no support. And that's something too you'll want to remember when it comes cost-wise. It's not free to join the board of realtors. It costs about $1,000. So right out the gates, before you ever even, sell a property, in order to sell a property, you're already investing minimum $1,000. And then once you choose your board, then it's kind of important to find some mentors that you want to work with and work hand in hand with in real estate. So, people like Kendrick, he would be able to refer you to some awesome people in the area. I would recommend to go on Facebook and LinkedIn and see who kind of the power players are in your particular arena that you're wanting to serve. And you can connect with some mentors like that. Mentors are gonna save your life in real estate, honestly. Go ahead, Kendrick.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but
Sure.
please don't be discouraged though. Even though it's like almost $1,000 at OCAR, they do have payment options, as I was discussing. So
That's true, that's
so
true.
you don't have to just be broke right off the bat. You can do monthly plans or quarterly plans. If you just talk to them, they really do care for the new realtors, so they will work with you. So don't be discouraged that once I get my license, I gotta just throw away $1,000. You know, you don't worry about it. They'll work with you.
That's true, and when he brings that up, one of the things, like, I'm the type of person that I don't like a regular scheduled payment. I like to keep my monthly expenses as cheap as possible, so then I like to pay for everything all up front and at once. But if you're a good budgeter or you have, you know, regular income coming in, then doing the payment plan is also an option. Or if you just don't have $1,000, it's better to pay for a quarter and get started and see if you can close a deal that will help you pay off the rest of what you owe there on the dues.
But also really fast regarding joining the board, I just did OCAR and they do monthly payment plans up to a certain month and then they don't. But they go ahead and,
Prorate it?
yeah, they prorate it to a certain extent. So I joined OCAR for like $580, I think.
Okay,
And
you
it's good
joined
for
in
the rest of the
July,
year.
right?
I think it was August when I
August,
joined.
okay. So yeah, if you're joining in the latter half of the year, they'll just do it like that. So that, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. If you talk to them, then they'll work with you when it comes to that type of thing. Also, I wanna bring up too, like, I'm not the type of speaker where I'm just gonna sit here and talk at you guys. Like, if you have questions, concerns, anything about anything I'm saying, feel free to pipe in. I want this to be an interactive type class. I want you guys to learn the answers to whatever questions that you have instead of, you know, just what I'm talking to you about. And then once you're looking for these mentors, it, you know, it just goes hand in hand with finding a broker at that point in time. So you, hopefully, somebody that does seem like they would be a good fit to be your mentor is also a broker, and that would be your first choice on where you're gonna hang your license at. Because not all things are considered equal that direction either. Certain companies, like really big ones, are going to take a lot more of your commission than smaller companies. But that said, the bigger companies are gonna offer you a lot more support as a new agent than some of the other boutique agencies out there. They expect you to be already, you know, skilled in your trade. And it's sad to say, but once you pass that test, you honestly, you guys, you don't know anything about selling real estate. So it's all in the field where we learn this. So please don't think just because you've got, you know, you passed the test on the first try or something like that, that you really know how to close a deal. Because there's so many factors involved in a true transaction of real estate, most of which that test doesn't cover. The test doesn't cover the emotions that your clients are gonna experience, you know, when you're trying to cheerlead them through the deal. It doesn't cover the negotiation process, which, you know, you can't negotiate, you have no deal. So all of those things are things that you're going to learn from your mentor or from other agents in your office. One of the things that I did too was some offices are looking for, like, they call front desk people. If you wanna, you know, get actual pay and learn at the same time, that's a great opportunity, especially if you have any marketing skills when it comes to social media or email marketing or any of that. You can go and approach different brokers and say, listen, I'd really like to learn and grow as a real estate agent, but I'm not ready to go on commission only yet. Do you have any positions at the office where you can pay me where I can be in the office? Because that was some really invaluable experience for me. I got hired by Metro Estates to work their front desk, and I got to listen to the agents and how they worked. And it was quite fascinating because there's really no rhyme or reason to how all of us work. Like, we're completely different. Like, you listen to one agent and she's like yelling at her clients, you listen to another agent and her clients are yelling at her, and you just have all of these different dynamics that are going on, but you get to hear from other agents how they handle these things so that you might be a little better prepared when that, whatever it is, happens to you, that you can address it without being completely clueless and like a deer in headlights. So yeah, I would encourage you to try to get a job, you know, front desk at a broker's office if you're not quite comfortable going into it yet. So some of you guys might be like, no, I wanna go gung-ho, I wanna go commission only, I'm ready to do this. and that's fine too. I would recommend for you guys that are on that level that you find a good team to align yourself with. Because honestly, and you know, it takes a team to really do a quality real estate. You can't do it all on your own. You know, if you have a sick day or you have a day that you're down or you get in a car accident or something, those deals still need to close. Those people still need a roof over their heads, and you need your help. So when you come alongside with a team, then something happens, you know, I can call Trish if I'm not feeling well that day and she can go show the properties for me, or vice versa. And then you work well together as a team. And then on top of that, we also have a transaction coordinator who pushes all of our paperwork. So if both of us are down, the papers still go through. And it's all, you know, very important to kind of align yourself with a team that has a like mind for, you know, a similar mindset that you do, so that you guys can be the most successful out of the gates. There's so many lessons that you'll learn the hard way if you just do this on your own. And I encourage you not to do that. Like, you don't have to be a part of a team forever. Like, one of the things that I didn't like the idea was, you know, I'm on this team and I'm marketing this other person and not me. So, you know, it's kind of like a give and take on that, because you're learning from that other person. And it's important to, you know, you're literally getting paid to learn in that type of a scenario. Even if you're a commission only buyer's agent on the team, you're still getting paid to learn from somebody that closes deals. And I can't remember the exact stats on the real estate agents that close deals, but it's definitely 80-20 rule. You know, 20% of the agents close 80% of the deals out there. So I believe the average real estate agent closes approximately 4 deals a year. That's 1 a quarter. So, and that's not enough to live in Southern California unless you're doing the tiny home thing. So make sure that you've got that all lined out. Another thing that I want to talk about is, you know, oh, go ahead.
What was it about Trish that you felt would make it work out with your team?
Trish is a good talker. Like, it's important to be able to communicate with people, you know, when you're meeting with them in person. And Trish, you know, we met and we talked, and, you know, she's good at just talking with people, and she doesn't talk down to people. She doesn't talk up to people. She just is a real person. And that's what I'm looking for, is real people on my team. I'm not looking for you to be the most professional, stuffy person, because what I've found is my clients want to work with somebody that's real, that they can actually tell their problems to. You know, you don't, unless it's a therapist, like, you don't usually, you know, go and tell your problems to a professional, right? So you have to be on that approachable level for your clients, because a huge thing that you're dealing with, like one of the probably the main thing that you're dealing with on everybody, be a buyer or seller, is fear. And you're a fear manager, and you're trying to help them overcome their fears so that they take action, because most people will remain frozen in fear. So, you know, if you can talk to people well and listen to them and actually understand what they're saying, then that's a good team member, a good person. So if you go to interview, for example, different mentors, and all they do is themselves, and they don't ask you any questions about you or anything like that, that might not be the best fit, because really what you have to learn to be as an agent is a great listener. Because if you actually hear what these people are saying, what their concerns are, then you can pull the fears out of it, you can address the fears, and then you can help them move forward in faith. So it's super important. Did I have a question in the back?
Huh?
Did you have a question back there?
Oh, no, I was just itching my eye.
Okay, sorry. Oh, you raised your hand. All right, so basically, and then, you know, not just about when it comes to like a team mentality, you have to find your passion. So what happens if, you know, you find somebody that's a good mentor, and the way that they generate their leads is completely out of your passion or comfort zone, then that might not be a good fit. So I want you guys to dig deep into who you are as a person and what is important to you when it comes to real estate. Who do you feel like you need to help? Who do you feel like doesn't have a fair chance? Who do you feel like doesn't have the right education? That could possibly be your niche that you're going after as a real estate agent. And, you know, for me, when I first got into the business, my niche was first-time buyers, and there's a couple reasons for it. One of the main ones was that I bought my first condo when I was 19 years old, and I would call these agents, you know, on the signs in the yards or whatever, and I would tell them that I was a first-time buyer and that I was 19 years old, and nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to work with me. They all thought I was an uphill battle, and they weren't interested. So that to me said, we need somebody to serve the younger home buyers and serve them well and, you know, educate them and care for them and actually, you know, talk to them instead of trying to just rush them into a house and then rush on to the next one. Because that's really how I felt when I was buying, you know, the property at 19 years old. And on top of that, I got into this industry when I was 23, so nobody that really trusted me, you know, at looking like, they used to say, you look like my kid, how would I trust you to buy or sell a home? And, you know, they kind of had a good point. It's like, what do you say to that? And now I have things that I say, and I can totally combat that. But, you know, when it's in your first year as a real estate agent, you really don't have a ton of things that you can say that make sense on why they should work with you, unless you've got some other skills on a different level that you can, you know, kind of talk up, let's say. So think about your passion and your niche, and I encourage you to kind of go after that, because you can sell real estate to a million different types of people. Like, you can be like, I am looking for investors and flippers, and that is who I'm gonna serve. Or I am looking for people that wanna develop land, and that's who I wanna serve. Or I wanna serve first-time buyers, or I wanna serve seniors, or I wanna serve couples that are divorcing and, you know, having struggles with what to do with all of that. Like, there's a million different niches, so to speak, that you can serve, and I think that you'll be the best that you can be if you find one that you're passionate about, not just one that the team is, you know, going after. So keep that in mind. And it's, you know, but don't necessarily marry your niche either. Like, you know, obviously, like, for example, me serving the first-time buyers, I wouldn't now, after being in the industry for 13 years, say, oh, I'm only gonna serve first-time buyers, because all those people I sold a home to 10 years ago are ready to be what's called a move-up buyer, when you sell your condo and then buy something, you know, a little bigger. So now I serve a good majority of move-up buyers, and that's just the nature of me moving through the industry and this particular career. So, I mean, of course, I'm still very passionate about the first-time buyers, and I help them all the time, but I'm not gonna ignore my move-up buyers and, you know, sellers on that level either. Let's talk marketing a little bit. So I'm curious, what do you guys think it takes, you know, marketing-wise for a real estate agent to, like, what would get your attention from a realtor? What kind of marketing? Throw some stuff out.
I think the word of mouth from
Yeah.
other buyers.
That's very powerful. Word of mouth is probably one of the most powerful ways to market. So then how do you get that word of mouth out to other people?
If you have a good, I don't know, that's one of the ways I would look for a
Sure.
real estate agent. If
Yeah.
she's, you know, if she's helped somebody I know and she was good and did
Absolutely.
a good
And,
deal.
yep, you're completely correct, and that's what happens with a lot of people nowadays. And usually what they do is they'll put it on Facebook and say, who knows a good real estate agent? So that's, you know, so if you're not available in social media, and if you don't have positive Yelp reviews, even if somebody says, you know, she's a great real estate agent, if the internet doesn't confirm that statement, then you might not get the call. And then, did you have a marketing?
Yeah, just like you mentioned Facebook, I had one relative, she's
Okay.
real estate. She
Okay.
always put on Facebook like what she did, how she get the deal, like close the deal, and you know, everything she has, like points or whatever, like, you know, in
Yeah.
real estate works. So she always posts that, so it gives her positive